retribution, man. That's what I want.
Come on.
How we doing, guys? So what am I going to moan about today? I tell you what I'm going to moan about. Grassroots football.
I represent my fucking self.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. That's right.
Now, I see an interview on Sky which was involving the Scotland game for the internationals this week. And one of the comments that was made, I agree with completely, is that football is not the be-all and end-all for youngsters anymore. A lot of kids growing up don't really want to be footballers anymore. And one of the biggest problems for that is the costing around grassroots football. Now, when I was growing up, you had football pitches throughout the county, wherever you lived, no matter where you went throughout the country. You think of Hackney Marshes, for example, the amount of football pitches they had there. Every single one of those pitches was taken up every Sunday morning. It was that simple. There was no space whatsoever. Now, in my local leagues, there was 9 divisions when I was growing up in men's football, starting from the Premier all the way to Division 9. That same organisation now only has 3 divisions, and that's including the Premier. And you look at that and you think, where have all those teams gone to? Where have all those people that wanted to play football gone? Obviously, I understand people have got older, but I mean the next generation growing up, coming through. Where has all that gone? Where has it gone so wrong? And one of the reasons is costing. Now, since I've taken over my own team, as you know, with DTFC, we've been doing our matches and everything else. And like everyone else, we have to pay for it. Now, everyone seems to have all these new 3G, 4G pitches now. You have the best facilities, the best stadiums and all this kind of stuff to ply your trade. But have you seen how much it costs to actually hire out these venues? Now, to put this into perspective for you, each pitch that I've been hiring out for my games during pre-season costs nearly £200 per game. You times that by 11 pre-season matches, which is what I've played. It's over £2,000 just in pitch hire alone. Then, of course, you've got to deal with the kit side of things, the laundry and everything else. I'm not even talking about purchasing a kit and everything else. So throughout the course of a whole season, you would probably be looking in excess of £4,000 to £5,000. It's ridiculous. You look at the park pitches now, you can sit there and say, well, go and use one of those. It doesn't cost as much and everything else. Well, half of the problem is that they don't get maintained. Half of them don't even have lines. The goals are bent and all over the place. Do the council really care? Are they really bothered? I don't think they are, to be quite honest with you. And you look at that and you just think, what is going to happen with grassroots football? I honestly don't know. I think give it another 10 years or so, there may not be that many sides left anymore. And youngsters, like I said, are not really interested in football. Youngsters growing up, they want to be rappers. They want to be YouTubers. There's other things for them to do now, which they look at and say, you know what? It's going to be a lot easier. You look at football academies. I thought that they were the be-all and end-all. You get into an academy, you've got your first steps to becoming a pro footballer. Watching my son in one of those academies myself, I've seen what they're all about. And they're not easy. And they're not that great. They're not as, what they're made out to be. It's a harsh world out there, man. And, my issue is playing football and the grassroots level and the cost it, become to actually play. Even when you look around your local streets, all you see is signs everywhere. No ball games. You look at South American and you know, all these other foreign countries that are blessed with so many great footballers, they encourage you to play football in the street. You know, go back to basics, find the wall, kick it against it and just learn and practice. In this country, they threaten to take you to court if you play football on the street. It's ridiculous, man. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Grassroots football, is it dying out? Are kids more interested in other things now? And is it too expensive to run a team on a Sunday league? Let me know. So what's going on in the world of football? Well, of course, it's still the international break. Now, Scotland, they got a harsh lesson last night, losing 4-0 to Belgium. And I suppose the story of the night was Kevin De Bruyne. He is in a rich vein of form right now. He's smashing it for Manchester City and for Belgium last night. 3 assists and a goal. And those 3 assists were in under 25 minutes. Now, Scotland, they've lost 4 of their last 6 qualifying games and they are not in a great place. And you've got to look at that and just say, will they ever qualify for any major tournaments in recent years or, you know, going forward? I very much doubt it, to be quite honest with you, because the level of competition they're coming up against, they are just not good enough. England, well, they don't look like they're having any problems whatsoever in qualifying for Euro 2020. And they've got their final game this evening. And Gareth Southgate looks like he will be ringing some changes. Now, you look at their lineup the other day, and there were a few question marks in there. Most notably at the right-back position. I thought Trent Alexander-Arnold should have started because for me, he is the best right-back in the Premier League right now. And also, Jadon Sancho, he was also on the bench. And the likes of Marcus Rashford were starting. And that's a surprise for me because Jadon Sancho, for me, is one of the best wingers out there. And already this season, he has hit the ground running at Dortmund and showing that last season was not just a one-off and that he is the real deal. Now, Gareth Southgate, he has kind of give indications to his team lineup tonight and that he will be making some changes. And it does look like Trent Alexander-Arnold will go in at right back and Jadon Sancho will start ahead of Marcus Rashford. Now that for me is the right decision because like I just said, those two are the best players in those positions for me when it comes to England. And despite Marcus Rashford scoring a couple of goals already for Manchester United this season, he's not played that great overall. And if you were going to put either him or Sancho in a side, then there's only one winner for me, and that's Jadon Sancho. So we'll wait and see what England do. Of course, if they do qualify, it will be a decade of qualifications in terms of major tournaments. And it's just whether we can actually overstep those final hurdles when it comes to the major tournaments and whether we can actually get past the semi-final stages. But we will wait and see. We've definitely got a good chance of being right up there for Euro 2020. Last piece of news involves Tammy Abraham and his mum has been talking about, you know, the racial abuse that he faced after he missed a penalty for Chelsea against Liverpool in the Super Cup. And Abrahams was saying that his mum was in tears and that she is so upset and distraught about the situation. And it's not great. We've already touched on the situation of the racism and everything else. But, you know, there are bigger pictures to this. And what some people may also forget are family members. You know, these players that get racially abused, you know, we don't know how they deal with it. You know, they could come out and say one thing and it could be affecting them a little differently. But I suppose a lot of them are media trained and they, you know what to say, but we will never ever know what goes on behind the scenes. But this kind of gives an indication as to the effects that this abuse has behind the scenes. And the abuse this, you know, has on family members. Because it's not great. You know, imagine your son being racially abused. You're so proud of your son for being out there and achieving all these things and being a professional footballer and, you know, fulfilling dreams and all this kind of stuff. And then just because they miss a penalty, you see vile, racist abuse against your child. It's not great. It's not great. And, you know, we touched on it, like I said, and hopefully the authorities and everyone involved can now find out the people that were responsible, and that the severest punishment is handed down to them. And yeah, hopefully they then end up learning from what they were doing in the first place. But we'll wait and see. So not a great way to end, but listen, I'm just reporting on what's being told at the moment. So we'll wait and see. And yeah, I'll be going through those qualifiers tomorrow. We'll see whether England win. I think they will, and they'll win quite comfortably, to be honest with you. So we'll wait for more news tomorrow. I'll see you lot then. I'm out of here.